Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Let's wait for a few minutes for others to join. I see a few more attendees joining in, so let's wait for another few seconds. Hi, everyone. A very good morning to you all. Thank you for joining us today. I am Josie, your host for this webinar. In this webinar session, Rohini will give a brief about engaging and managing team during COVID on Synergita. Rohini is a part of both implementation and support team. She has done multiple implementations of her product and is also supporting all the customers across the globe. She is an ardent product consultant who configures the product effectively without compromising the customer satisfaction. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. All phones are set to mute. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat window located beside the presentation panel. We have already received several questions from the registrants, which will be answered by the speaker during the end. We will continue to collect more questions during the session and we will try to answer them during today's Q&A. In case if you do not receive answers to your questions, you will certainly receive answers via email shortly. Once again, thank you for your participation and enjoy the session. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to Rohini.
Thank you, Jose, for introducing me. Now, let me say hi to our audience. Hi, everyone. A very good morning to you all. It is an absolute pleasure to meet you all through this webinar. On behalf of Synergita, I, Rohini, a product consultant, would like to welcome you all with a full on smile on my face. There's a quote which goes, team management and team engagement are catalysts for success and sustainability that cannot be ignored. We all know that both team management and engagement are crucial factors that can very much improve productivity, which ultimately contributes towards business growth and economic benefits. It has been an almost 1.5 years since the COVID 19 outbreak, and this pandemic outbreak has implied significant changes in the way organizations work, bringing predominant changes in the employees' routine and activities. Now let's see how managing an engaging team with Synergita during COVID be like. In our first section, I will be talking about how goals morph or change during COVID. It goes without saying that aligning performance management to business objectives during COVID-19 pandemic is like trying to shoot a moving target. Difficult, right? For instance, how many times have you heard these questions? How will we handle performance reviews this year? How can we set goals if we can't pin down future business plans? Or what will 2021 even look like? Certainly concerning. Right now, there are too many unknowns for businesses to be able to map strategic objectives. Ones that under normal circumstances, that is, before COVID crisis, would be used to guide the performance management process. So, how should or how organizations proceed? Many companies have decided to create quarterly or monthly strategic plans because of the uncertainty of the current atmosphere. Some companies have opted to set new goals or metrics to cope up with the pandemic situation, and many other companies change their objectives or targets in the mid of appraisal. Now, let us look at a few examples in which COVID has been the main reason for the morphing or changing of goals. Our first example is about a support executive. A support executive is unfortunately affected from COVID 19 and is unable to complete the goals set by the manager. So, usually, the support executive's KPI is to resolve 600 incident tickets for the quarter. And now that he's affected by COVID, what did the organization do? The organization morphed his KPI from 600 tickets to resolve to having ticket resolution percentage greater than or equal to 85. So, the metric of the employee has been changed to percentage of tickets resolved from the tickets assigned. Our second example is about a customer success specialist. A customer success specialist positive from COVID 19, unable to complete his goal set by his manager. So, usually, the customer success specialist KPI before COVID used to be achieving 100% on time renewal of customers assigned to him. And now that he is affected by COVID and unable to complete the same, the organization morphed his KPI. So the morphed KPI is 15% of price increase in average revenue per customer. And therefore, the metric of the employee has been changed to percentage of average revenue per customer. Our third example is about the KPIs of facilities team. Be it any organization, facilities team makes sure that cab and bus transportation for the employees are on time. They ensure food coupons are conveyed to the employees availed. They also ensure the working of copy printing machines, projectors, air conditioners, and other amenities in the infrastructure. Now that COVID has come into the picture, let's see how it has crazily affected the KPIs of facilities team. Morphed KPIs. Now, facilities team ensure that office going employees are vaccinated. They make sure that work desks, cubicles, conference rooms, cafeterias, and restrooms are sanitized. They ensure that social distancing is maintained in work area, cafeteria, and cabs. They also make sure that employees wear masks inside the infrastructure. Crazy, right? Synergita has been flexible and helping its customers for any changes related to the employee's KPI and the frequency of performance reviews. We have been adaptable to the customer's new changes and requirements in their processes and have provided them a seamless experience with process change. In our second section, I will be covering how and why review and feedback are important. Listen more, talk more. So, in this pandemic, there is a widespread anxiety among the employees since there have been a lot of dramatic changes in the workplace, work style, and in being able to balance personal life from work. It is necessary to give the employees your feedback, advice, recognition, and the appreciation they deserve. So, in this difficult time, reviews and feedbacks could be the much needed energy fuel for the employees right now from their managers or leaders. An appreciation or even a constructive criticism is just a pat on the back for the employees in this current plight. However, it is equally important to lend your ears to your employees. You need to empathize with their greatest concerns, communicate with them frequently and confidently, and also be flexible and supportive to meet their needs. Measuring and engaging gathering feedback is more important now than ever during COVID-19 crisis. So this will keep your employees engaged and motivated and will keep them committed to the work they do. Let's look at how continuous feedback looks like during COVID time. So what is continuous feedback? Continuous feedback is a mechanism or a process where an employee receives ongoing feedback and is guided in a systematic manner by openly discussing the strength and weakness of the employees. During this COVID crisis, continuous feedback has been the answer to increased employee engagement now than ever. Managers and leaders are aware of the significance of the feedback and reviews to the employees, and so they have been using a continuous feedback module to appreciate, encourage, motivate, and reward the employees. Synergita, we have several predefined continuous categories that employers, managers, leaders have been using. Some of them are appreciation, one-on-one discussion, awards, and developmental needs. Appreciation. You need to let your employees see that their company values them and their contributions to the success of their team and the company overall. Just imagine how fueled will an employee feel when he receives an appreciation post from his manager or lead. Don't we all need some applause or pat in the back sometimes? We do, right? One-on-one discussion. A one-on-one meeting is now used for regular check-ins between two people in an organization, typically a manager and an employee. Managers or leaders are using these check-ins to see how employees are coping up with the COVID situations. So managers can also use this check-in to see if the employee requires counseling. This is also a way for the managers to say to their employee that they are always there for them. Awards. Honoring outstanding employees motivate them to exceed expectations in the future. They also deliver the best service for their respective organization. Now, this also becomes an act of inspiration for other employees to excel and produce the best outcome. Everyone draws inspiration from individuals who do a great job and are honored for their achievements. Developmental needs. Developmental needs are usually used by managers and leaders to sit down, collaborate, coach, and develop people with frequent check ins. This helps the managers or leaders to identify the blind spot of the employees or what are the skills that employees need improvement. Synergita has also the option to create user defined categories according to the customer's requirements. This continuous feedback could also be used as an information sharing wall where employees, can post queries about vaccine availabilities, hospital bed vacancies, and even for asking help, which is up to public view in the organization. And anyone could reply to the comment on the same. Our third section is about retaining organization culture values or culture score. Now, what is a culture score? A culture score is a powerful, strong assessment in which every employee is assessed against their company's core values. Usually, many companies have a set of values that they expect their employees in the work environment to follow. So, some of them may include honesty, integrity, mutual respect for each other, inclusive learning, customer success, and so on. This culture score assessment is the simplest way you can ask your peers, managers, or leaders to rate their colleagues on adherence to various company values. During this pandemic, we all know that employees are working from home. So, even if they are working from home, it is essential for the companies to keep in check if their core values are still adhered and acted in accordance by their employees. So Synergita has this powerful feature that can help you to measure employees' adherence level to company's core values in their day-to-day actions and interactions. To make it more user-friendly, we have made this a mobile-enabled feature so that you could use it anytime, anywhere using the Synergita application. Our fourth section is about visualizing more using charts and dashboards. In our dashboard of the PMS, we provide a current summary in a graphic, easy to read form of key information relating to progress and performance of the employees. So, our dashboard is studded with various widgets the managers could use to monitor the employees with. Basically, it provides high-level overview of feedback cycle status, headcount, gender diversity, new hire trend, attrition trend, my team celebration, OKR approvals, OKR status, pending action items, COVID widget, and so on. The chart representation of these widgets are extremely handy and user-friendly to configure, and there are various types available to visualize it. So we have different types of chart that includes pie chart, column chart, spline area, and donut. Now let us look at a few of the widgets in our PMS. Feedback cycle status widget. In feedback cycle status widget, you will be able to read the number of employees and the workflow activity they are currently in. So here in our example, we have a bar chart. We could see the workflow activities along the x-axis and the number of employees mentioned on the top of the bars. You will be able to see that here under self-feedback activity, we could see that 2 employees are pending in it. Now, easy to read and track. Rating distribution widget. So this rating distribution widget displays the ratings in the organization and the number of employees falling in the rating bucket. Here we have buckets like not provided, excellent performer, valued performer, and improving performer. And in this spline chart, we could see there is a hike in valued performer bucket and that there are 9 employees falling in it. This rating distribution widget could be very useful in the normalization process of the organization. New hire trend widget. This new hire trend widget displays the hiring trend of the organization. Here we could see that the organization has hired 3 employees in September 2020 and furthermore 1 employee in March 2021. This widget could be very quite useful for HR and top management people to track their hire trend. So this hire trend could also be visualized using different charts such as spline area, donut, and so on. Team celebration widget. So in our team celebration widget, we would be displaying all the upcoming birthdays and work anniversaries of the organization. So the manager or HR can view the upcoming birthdays of their reportees, their work anniversaries, and can always wish them and provide their greetings. This will help them not to miss any important birthdays and anniversaries. Headcount widget. In headcount widget, you will be able to see the count of the employees in the organization. This count could be categorized department wise, level wise, track, division, and so on. So here we are having a pie chart and we are clearly able to see that there are 8 people in editing, 9 in finance, 9 in HR, 9 in marketing, 10 in sales, 26 in software engineering, and 12 have not provided. Easy to read, right? Gender diversity. In our gender diversity widget, we will be able to see the number of female and male in the organization. In our chart here, we have 27 females, 37 males, and 17 of the employees have not provided their gender description in their profile. Pending activities widget. Pending activities widget displays all the pending activities an employee has in their PMS. So here we have a pending activity of an HR who is supposed to approve feedback and recommendation for Tony Smith. This could also be the easy navigation to the action items page. My Goals widget. In My Goals widget, you will be able to see the list of goals you have, the progress of the goals, and the due date. So the progress percentage will show you if the goal has been leading, on track, or lagging. Also, now there's due date in the list, would also be alert and keep track of your goals and will make sure that you complete the goals on time. Now, now that's all about the widgets. Our last section of our presentation is tracking your team safety using COVID widget. How to capture and publish. Now that we are accustomed to the uncertain pandemic life, we all know that it is paramount to get our vaccinations pronto. So every organization aspire their employee safety as their number one priority and have been focusing on the same ever since. Many organizations have been stepping forward and initiating driving COVID vaccination camps and encouraging and pushing their employees to get vaccinated. End of the day, the organization's aim is to get every employee vaccinated. So, now how can organizations keep track of employees' vaccination statuses? There are so many questions that arises and so many questions that need answers to. How many employees have taken their first shot of vaccination, or how many employees are yet to take their second shot, or how many employees have completed both the shots of vaccination, or how many employees not even taken the first shot. Aren't the answers to the questions very pivotal? These answers will play the most crucial role and could be the deciding factor in any office's reopening and resuming. This is the most important role in the back to work strategy. It also, serves the well-being of both the organization and its employees, using which the leaders could also encourage others to be vaccinated, which in turn helps the nation's vaccination drive. Synergita has this beautiful feature to manage vaccination status of employees. This feature provides you two options in adding the vaccination data into the system. The first option is that employees can add their vaccination status in the employee profile. They could add it as first dose taken, not taken, vaccinated. The second option is for HRs. The HRs can import the vaccination status using the employee details import utility. Now this can be done in a bulk manner. COVID dashboard. Now, how can HRs and manager can check the vaccination status of the team members? The vaccination status shall be checked via COVID widget that will be made available in the dashboard of the system. This COVID widget can display the data in a graphic or a grid way. So here we have a donut chart which says there are 27 who have taken their first dose, 26 have not taken, and 30 have completed both the doses. This graphic way includes chart representation of different types. As mentioned earlier, we would also be able to visualize this as a column chart, donut chart, spline chart, pie chart, and so on. The COVID vaccination certificate can also be uploaded by the employee in his profile under the Documents tab. Managing medical insurance details. The employee can also able to manage the medical insurance detail for himself and his families under the health details tab under his profile. Now this could be very helpful for the employees to keep track of the insurance plan and the expiry date during this pandemic. Mass communicate. Synergita has this wonderful feature that will be very useful for the HRs and the top management folks. E-communication or mass communication in this COVID pandemic time can be used by the HR to send emails for COVID drive across the organization in one shot. The HR, can also download this employee report from which the HR will be able to extract a list of employees who have vaccinated, who have not been vaccinated. And she could use the list of people who have not yet vaccinated and send the reminders to them. Now that's how Synergita can be used effectively to manage and engage team during COVID crisis.
Thank you, Rohini. That was a very great session, and there was a lot of insights about managing remote working team with Synergita. Hope the session was useful for the audience as well. Let's move on to the poll. Our first polling question is, are you planning to change or morph goals? Please select the appropriate response and click. I request all the attendees to participate in our poll. Those of you who have not yet responded, go ahead and submit your responses now. We'll close the poll in a few moments. All right, we are now closing the poll, and let me share the results with everyone. It's like majority have
Happy to
responded.
see the number of answers, so you guys don't have to worry. Our team will get in contact with you. Yeah.
So now we will go ahead and take some time for questions. Just a reminder to attendees, please be sure to type your questions into the question box in your control panel. We already have few questions now. So the first question, Rohini, when can we update or change the goal set in the PMS?
So, Joes, the managers or employees can edit the goals anytime before they initiate the appraisal in their organization, be it mid-year or annual appraisal. They should make sure that they edit the goals before they start it, so that they will be providing reviews for the latest goals. So, it is always advisable to edit your goals before you initiate appraisals.
Great. So the next question we have here is, if the manager wants to check in with the employees or provide counseling to him, can it be made private only to the manager and in the continuous feedback?
So actually, yes, the one-on-one meeting is actually a check-in between any two people. So it can be the manager or the employee, sorry, and the employee. It can be made private, and only these two people will be able to view the continuous feedback one-on-one meeting post in their wall.
All right. Couple of questions coming in. And when peers provide culture score rating to the colleagues, can it be made anonymous?
The provider name can be made anonymous, and usually depends upon the customer's requirement. If the customers want it anonymous, and we can definitely make it anonymous.
Great. So another question that we have is, will the vaccination status update in the system be extracted in the report? Do you like to?
Actually, the vaccination status and it will be captured in the employee report. So the HR will be able to see the statuses using the employee report itself.
Right. All right. It looks like we have covered all the questions. And anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap up?
Yes, Jose. So, in conclusion, I would want to summarize that during this COVID crisis, Synergita will be your friend, be flexible, and will guide you throughout the PMS processes. So, our continuous feedback and culture score modules will keep your employees engaged and save your organization from disengagement costs. And our dashboards are neat and convenient utility to read the progress of employees within a quick minute in the system. And finally, our new feature on COVID widget is much needed and certainly a necessary one every organization should possess. So, I really hope this webinar was informative and knowledgeable to you. I would really like to thank you all for joining us in this webinar and providing us your unwavering attention. And also, we are grateful that you took time to attend today's webinar. So, wishing you all a very pleasant day. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohini. I also hope the session was informative and has given a great insights to our audience. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. And if you have any other questions, please contact or write to customer.success@synergita.com. Once you leave today's webinar, receive a survey on the presentation, and we would appreciate if you would complete that and provide. You will also receive a follow-up email with a link to view a recording of today's webinar. And so on behalf of Synergita and our presenters, thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Thank you.